guys, I know that this is an absolutely terrible idea and you know what this video entails from the title alone, but my impulsive thoughts that couldn't stop thinking about this won't let me calm down, so this is something that I'm doing. I'm going to read the last chapter first. Okay, for some backstory, because most people are probably going to think I'm utterly mental for wanting to do a reading vlog like this. But last month, I met Grace from G's Fizzle Books and we did bookish collabs, and we have a collab on her channel and a collab on my channel, and my collab idea was bookish would you rathers. And one of the questions we discussed was, would you rather read the last chapter first or never read the last chapter of a book ever again? And both of them were like, you always had to read the last chapter first every single time, or never read the last chapter first every single time. And we both decided that reading the last chapter first made a lot of sense. And obviously with the would you rathers, a lot of them were things that were just like very much make-believe, but this is something that I can actually do, and I feel, because I said I'd rather do it, I feel like I need to test out this theory. And something Grace doesn't know is about a month ago, because I've wanted to do this for a whole month, but I've been reading other things and I haven't had the time to actually commit myself to this reading vlog, but I messaged Grace and I'm like, hey, I have a video idea, do you want to like send me some prompts that I will use to pick a book off my bookshelf? And she's like, yeah, all good. But I didn't tell her what it was for. So she's an accomplice in my madness now without knowing. She is absolutely enabling me to do this, and when she finally sees this video, I think she's gonna find it very funny. And I don't know if I want to challenge you to also do this, Grace, because you're not as crazy impulsive as I am. But I'm excited, and definitely with this, I am choosing a fantasy book, and I'm hoping I'm gonna pick a book that doesn't really matter, because again, it's whatever she's got prompted for me, and she's given me 3 prompts in case there is a book I've already read, because they're all kind of littered here. But I definitely didn't want to do a contemporary, because contemporaries are all so easy in a sense, like they're all very tropey and you kind of know where the end's gonna be. I want a fantasy ending where I'm like, what the fuck? And then I have to try and figure out what's going on. But also, if it lands on a book that's part of a series, I'm also not going to do that, because I don't want to ruin something that I've already started reading and I already know the characters. I want it to be completely fresh. Okay, so the coordinates that she has given me is 5:15, 21:19, and her favorite 4:20. So let's see what we find. Okay, so I'm going to count downwards and kind of go like this, but 2 of the guesses are just in this first shelf, but I will go in order of what she's given me. So 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of these I've already read, so 5:15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, no! The one book I haven't read on this shelf, the one book. It's a fucking Maria V. Schneider book. Oh no! I wish it could have been anything else. Should I just see what the other ones would have been and maybe I can pick? Because I really don't want to read this, but maybe reading the last chapter first will make me intrigued. But I'm gonna have war flashbacks because Spyglass is shit. Now I need to find out what the others are gonna be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 19 is a book I've already read. And then 4:20. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, this is a different book. Okay, so I could either read Dune or Navigating the Stars. And you know what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go onto my Instagram and do a poll on my stories, and then people can pick what book it's for. And I will also not explain it to the people on Instagram because I want to keep the mystery alive for this video. But I also have to finish my current read, so I knew I wasn't going to start reading yet, but this is going to make it more intriguing. But definitely both of these I haven't read. Both have fantasy elements going on. I'm excited, and I just wonder what people are going to pick. Max, what are you doing? What? What have I done? Come here. Rude boy. So it has totally been a week since I started this vlog, and that's because I still haven't finished my current read. I thought I would have finished it ages ago, and I thought I'd have a lot of time before Because We Can to do this reading vlog of insanity, but I don't. But anyway, I did my Instagram poll, and these are the results of everyone that voted, and I think 13 people voted, and everyone let me down, okay? Everyone who knows me should know that Maria V. Schneider is an author's books that I just hate. Poison Study and the Touch of Magic trilogy is the only okay thing that she has written, and I am just concerned because now I have to put myself through this. But at least if it has to be a crap book that I've picked to do this, I guess it's worth it. So, Navigating the Stars by Maria V. Schneider is happening for this vlog. The only saving grace is it's a sci-fi story, not a fantasy story, so maybe it's going to be okay. But also my copy is like freaking dirty as F, and it's got like freaking mold on it or something. I really don't know, but it's irritating me. But I'm going to find this last chapter and read it. I really hope it's not like really long, because I think chapter 24 is the last chapter. How do I even count this as me reading? Do I count this as reading for the day, or is this just a like, oh, because I'm going to read it at the end again. So the last chapter is only 11 pages long. I will give you my thoughts and feelings once I've started this, because I have no idea what's going on. But there is this thing going on here that says 2522 182. I don't know what that means, but let's read this chapter. Last chapter, and somehow I understood everything that was going on, which is really weird. There wasn't anything that was like hella confusing. Obviously what happened is the main character, Lyra, I think that's her name, so I don't even know her name. Is it Lyra? And basically this whole chapter talks about how she fakes her death, and she's at her own funeral. So her parents are there, this dude that she like admires is there, like her partner's there, her boyfriend's there, and they're all doing the eulogy for her, and she's just like sitting in the room and they're saying all this stuff and they're crying and it's all so sad. And then suddenly like, oh, there's a new person on the team, and then she gets renamed and just pops back up. And my first question is, won't people know what she looks like? Has she changed? So this is something that obviously hasn't been answered. Did she actually die and now she's come back? Because this book is about wormholes, and I was thinking like, was she just like there but no one could see her, like she's actually a ghost or something? So this officer Menz dies, which seems like a spoiler, but obviously I'm spoiling myself. So once that person gets introduced, I'm like, So I know that she ends up with Niall, and I kind of can't hear that name without thinking of One Direction, so that's going to be a bit awkward. But really, it hasn't spoiled a lot. But I know there's some stuff with wormholes, and the villain's name is something random. And there's lots of characters. There's like lots of doctors and stuff. Jaren. Jaren. What a good name for a villain. It's like, Jaren's coming. But I feel like that really didn't spoil a lot, unless it does once I start reading. But this book is only 450 pages. I don't know how quickly I'm going to read it, but I forgot how easy it is to get through Maria V. Schneider's books, so hopefully this goes well. You know, I literally started this vlog like a month ago, and I mean the fact that I've figured out what book I was reading, but then when I actually read the chapter, that was probably like 3 weeks ago. So I've kind of already forgotten what happened at the end. And it's funny because me and Grace also questioned this, that if we were able to like read the chapters and then not pick up the book for a year, we would probably forget what happened, and I kind of have. But to be honest, this end chapter didn't really reveal anything except someone dies, and obviously she's going to end up with someone, and she's having a funeral for herself. So I obviously remember some things, but I've read a grand total of 14 pages of this book, and it's very sci-fi, very spacey, but it also feels very juvenile, and I just know I'm going to read this with the lens of like, because I feel like I'm not gonna like it just because her other books piss me off. So if she actually manages to write a good book, like, I don't know how to stay open-minded when I've been burnt by her so many times before. And I don't even know why I bought this book, to be honest, but there's a whole trilogy. But basically the main character like doesn't want to move because she's gonna like lose all her friends, and every time she moves she doesn't age a lot, but then it goes like 50 years in the future because of like wormholing and stuff. So like a lot of her old friends are just like already dead. And I'm like, that's sad. And apparently her brother left 2 years ago, and by the time he arrives where he's going, they'll all be dead too. So like her parents don't want to let her go, and she's just like, let me live my life. And I'm like, you will literally never see your parents again. That is a bit freaking scary. I would stay with them for as long as I possibly could if I was you, or at least live where they're gonna live, because if you travel off somewhere else, you just never, they're gonna be dead. That's scary. But I hope to read more, but like my level of reading is just not going well. Like it's the end of the month, Nelly, and I thought I would have finished this by now, but like it hasn't happened. Like I literally didn't read for like a week, and now I finally picked it up yesterday, but it's like not going well. Like I hope this process goes better and this can be an interesting vlog. But who knows? Yes, it's late, and yes, it's raining a lot, so that's probably going to be in the background, but I'm finally coming back to actually put content in this vlog. I started out so strong, like I thought the idea was so exciting. And yes, Navigating the Stars might not have been the best book for this because the ending didn't really reveal a lot, which is probably a good thing. But I'm just annoyed because I started this at a time that I thought I would have time, and then it's been a month. I'm pretty sure it's been a month since I've actually vlogged, but also I just haven't felt like vlogging because I'm actually up to page 126, and I think the first time I talked about this book I had only read like 20 pages, but this has been closing in on 2 weeks since I started this book. So technically it hasn't been a month since I vlogged. Maybe it's been a month since I started this vlog because readathons and life and work and things keep coming up, and I was sick, which you guys would know. But I'm just so mad that I haven't been able to maintain this. So when I did start reading this, I reread the last chapter, and I don't know what the rules are here that I'm meant to only read it once because I forgot everything that happened. So I reread it. But then I had to reread it again because I didn't really know what was going on, so I needed the refresher. But something that's really funny to me is it took me until page 80 to make the connection on who the villain is, because they say the name of the villain in the last chapter, and then they're friends with the villain, but with all the weird time skipping and stuff. The main character, Lila, is like 17 when the villain is now 37, so they used to be the same age, but now they're not because he time skipped as well. It's weird. I will go into more detail about what actually is happening in this book, but most of it confuses me. And I'm pretty sure I said that this was going to be a spoiler review because I want to talk about the way that the things that I found out at the end of the book changed my reading experience. So the villain's name is Jaren, and it's annoying for me now that I don't have to try and pick it because I know who it is. So I can read it with the thought that this guy is bad news and he's trying to help, but it's clearly not helping because he's the reason why a lot of people have just died. So that is an interesting concept, but I also know who died. I know who she ends up with. I know that she has her fake funeral. There's a lot of different things that get revealed to me, but it is definitely becoming more of an interesting concept to me now because I was feeling like it was just a bit of a letdown that nothing really juicy happened, but knowing the villain is good news to have. But yeah, basically with this book, because I never explained it because I honestly didn't really know either. So this book is set in space, and obviously, as I said, there is time skipping, but basically in the world the ships have the ability to crinkle through time, so they like fold the universe and go from one side to the other, and in that time any amount of years can go past because they have actual years and they have Earth years, because Earth years can go by like a lot. Like the main character is like 400 Earth years old, but she's only 17 actual years because they base it off the time that they actually live instead of the time that they skip through. But she has gone through a few of these skips where by the time she gets to her new home, all of her old friends are in their 80s or in their 50s. They can be at any time. So in this book, she's going through a time skip and she has to leave her friend Lynn, who is like someone that she didn't expect to get attached to, but she also thought her parents weren't going to move her again, and her brother 2 years ago decided to skip as well, so they're never going to see him again because by the time that he gets to Earth where he's going, they'll all be long dead. So that's also terrifying. But in her time on this planet that I can't remember the name of, she has learned how to worm through the QNet, and the QNet is basically the internet, but you're able to plug things into the back of your head and you can like basically be inside the internet, but you're still within your body. Like you're basically using your mind to make it do what you want it to do. So she has the ability to worm through the QNet though, because there is a lot of restrictions on it and not many people have access to certain things. Being she's a child, she doesn't have a job, there's so many things that she's not allowed to do. So she worms through and finds all this secret stuff. To be honest, I thought it was going to be like actually going through wormholes and not just hacking. But it's interesting that she's got this ability, and when they finish doing the Crinkle, the place where they used to be, there has been radio silence for a year, and they're all concerned about what's happened, so they use her abilities to find out what happened. But we've now learned that they've all died. So her best friend, who was like 57 at the time, who also found out some key information about, because there's terracotta warriors also. The main thing of the scientists is there is all these terracotta warriors popping up on planets, and they think aliens built them on Earth and brought them to other planets. And it's like bizarrely weird, because I love the terracotta warriors. I really want to go visit at one time in my life, and I've always been intrigued by them. But it's weird to see this sci-fi take on it, and I'm like, okay. So that's basically what's happening, and also the love interest is the only person her age on the ship, so easy. But I have to say, I am very confused about the worming thing, because she keeps talking about it, and this is the type of narration where they like talking to you and it's like breaking the fourth wall with a lot of situations, and there's drawings in here sometimes as well. But I just think it's weird, because it's like the way they describe it is like virtual reality, but it isn't. But then the fact that you have to plug something into your brain is very weird, and there's chips and things, and I just don't like it. It's weird and just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I would like a more detailed explanation, because I'm just going along reading it, and Jaren is the person who taught her how to worm, but he's the bad guy. So I'm like, why did you kill the planet? What happened to you in these years that you've been living? So I'm very intrigued about the aspect of finding out the mystery there. But she's also doing a traineeship to navigate the stars, which is what the book's about, because she wants to be a navigator, even though, because they want her to learn how to do navigation because of her worming skills. And yeah, that's basically the book. This feels like such a long-winded explanation, but so you guys know what it's about, because actually I don't even know who's gonna watch this vlog, because you might watch it for the experimentation that I'm doing, but if you haven't read the book, it's probably not going to be worthwhile actually watching this. So who knows, like, you'll just have to tell me why the reason you ended up watching this, or is it just to see my beautiful face? But I've been talking for too long. I hope this is good content for my vlog. I will try to make them more quicker after this. Oh my god, guys, here are the animals. Azzy, Maxie. I'm just chilling on my floor, and it's basically 2 in the morning. I'm trying to vlog for this vlog, but it's not going very well. But it's good. There's no strict time limit, but this is going to be a long video. I wonder if it's going to be longer than my gear up vlog by the time this video actually gets out in the world. But I have been reading. I feel like I'm finally getting into like a momentum with this book. So I'm up to page 260, and I feel like it's finally got the ball rolling. Like, it took so long to actually get into the describing of the book and the way that all the sci-fi stuff was just very confusing for me most of this reading experience. But now it's getting to the point where there's like this interesting stuff where she was like trying to reconstruct to this general dude, and she's now feels connected to it because they found this like underground bunker where they build them. I don't know if they actually built them down there or they were just inserting these weird hearts, but then she like touched one of the hearts and then it dissolved, and now she feels weird like all the time. So I wonder if something happened there. But then looters came back and they attacked her, and she broke like a heap of bones in her body, and she's been healing from it, but she was trying to protect the general. So there's like some weird connection thing going on. Like, I don't know if there actually is going to be aliens in this book, or if it is aliens or it's humans or whatnot, but I do know that there is still 2 more books. So I feel like there's questions that aren't going to get answered in this, and now I'm like, huh. Because I think at this point it's probably going to be a 4-star read, which is bizarre. I know I'm just being biased against the fact that I don't like her writing, but she's written a really good YA book here. It's just all her other books that shit me. Because Niall is actually a decent love interest. Like, he's not a dick. Like, he can be a little bit dickish because he hasn't tried to assault the main character, which is a bonus. And she's a little bit dumb, and the language is very juvenile in some parts, but it is still flowing pretty well. And as I said, the traction is happening now. Like, I'm more than halfway through the book. I'd say I'm 60% of the way through. It has been a long experience of me trying to read this book, but now I feel like I need to buy the sequels. But I'm not going to do that until I had like, I don't know, like 200 books left on my TBR, which will never happen. I honestly still think I need to just do like a big unhaul at some point, because there's no more space here. That is just all full of books. There is too many books and I don't have the time to read this bitches. But that is my progress at the moment. There hasn't been any more talk about Jaren. Like, she's been messaging him, so obviously she is sending him messages, and like he's going like, oh, I know all the shit. But I also think what's going to end up happening is the society or the police or the people in charge, like whatever their force of people is totally doing bad shit. Like either Jaren can see what they're doing, or there is someone on the inside like doing the bad shit, which I'm thinking is going to vibe. And I feel like there has to be someone on the base with them that isn't doing the right thing. And also Jaren's crew or whoever he's working with, I think he's the leader, they figured out a way to travel through space and time without the years going past. So that is a concern, because they can get from one part of the universe to the other without actually having to crinkle. So there's a lot of questions, and obviously, as I said, there's not much left of this book, so I feel like I'm going to be having a lot of unanswered questions here, but let's hope that this finale is going to be good. You know, to be honest, it's either very late or very early, depending on your viewpoint, because it's 2 AM in the morning. I don't know how long it's been since I've vlogged. I feel like I'm doing such an awful job. Like, I was so motivated at the start of this video, but it's just slowly dwindled because I'm just very slumpy. Like, I'm liking the book, I'm really enjoying the reading experience, but I also don't want to read it in the slightest. And I'm very concerned because I really want to read Booklovers after. It's up there somewhere, and I'm worried that I'm gonna like not be motivated, even though I know I want to read it. And this has been happening with me like for the past couple of years, as I know I want to read these books, yet I can't make myself do it. At least in Jindabyne I had more time. It's like I have no time to do freaking anything here now. And especially now that my shifts are all changing, and you know what? Old me, who read so many books, would be so excited that I would finish at 6, so I'd have hours to read. Now I just watch TV. Like, honestly, Netflix is the thing that killed my reading. TV is just so much easier to cope with. I'm up to page 380 though, so I'm getting very, very close, and they still haven't revealed that Jaren is the villain. So I definitely think that in the next books, it's going to be more apparent how bad or how messed up or whatever plans he's doing. Like, he may end up being a right creep, or he may be her new love interest. I don't know. Maria V. Schneider is freaking weird with some of her writing. And I'm just so glad that this book, and I touched on this in my 7 on Sunday video that I uploaded, I would say a couple of weeks ago by the time you actually see this video, but I touched on the fact that all of her love interests suck ass. So Niall is actually quite a good character. I really enjoy him. He's very sweet, and he was very standoffish at first, but he had valid reasons, because there's no need to get attached to people when they're just going to blimp out of your life and be 100 years old in the span of 10 minutes. So it makes a lot of sense. But now he really wants to protect Lyra, and he wants to be around her all the time. But a lot of things are like keeping them apart, in the sense that everyone's like, you're too young, you can't be in a relationship. And I'm like, he's the only guy there. There's not really many options for her. And they make each other better. That is for sure. I'm also like getting worried too, because I know one of the security dudes is gonna die, and I think it's Metz or Menz or whatever his name is. I'm pretty sure that's the guy that does die, but I'm forgetting. And I'm also still really sad that her friend died. And now there's all these weird shadow blob monsters, and there's ghosts, and it's just taking a turn. And to be fair too, I have to say that I 100% agree that the concept of this vlog really didn't pay off with the selection that I chose, because this chapter was interesting. It gave me some tidbits, and I really liked the way that the story flowed very, very easily, but it didn't give me anything juicy. Like, knowing the villain hasn't really mattered for the fact that we don't meet him until like how much longer. They might have revealed him in the chapter before the last chapter, but I was really hoping that there'd be some really good goss or some really big plot twist, and I'm almost tempted to try this again. I know I'm not going to, because this is not my reading style and this is not what I do, but it is sad that in the end it didn't really work. But also it's good, because that means I wasn't spoiled too much. I really need to go to bed though, because the 2 o'clock in the morning thing and the fact that I have to be up at 8 is not helping. Okay, it's a new day, and I'm completely adamant that I'm going to finish this book today. I just read 25 pages before work, and I'm very, very close. I've got less than 50 pages to go, so I'll read some on my lunch break, and then I have to make myself finish it tonight because I just want it done. I've been reading this book for nearly a month. It's been a very long time, and something that I thought was really interesting is they do mention the monsters at the end of the book, but it only just made sense to me because they were calling them shadow blobs, but then they made an acronym for them. So at the end, when one of the officers like, oh, you saved me from this, the acronym, I didn't realize they were aliens. So they did say it without saying it, because reading the end of the book, you're obviously meant to know the acronyms by then. So it didn't really help. It was mysterious, but also didn't give me a lot of help. But now the base is being like taken over by the looters, and thankfully Lyra figured it out. So she's been like worming and trying to like get around the system and like hiding in the cameras and in the vents, and she's like getting all the security officers out, but her parents are like nearly gonna die, so she's gonna go. And obviously at this this point, I think Jaren is finally going to reveal himself, because they did mention at the end, so he's definitely chilling. And it's just sweet that she's like there trying to protect her parents, and then they're going to take her, and then she like won't see them again. So obviously she's not going to get taken because they need to keep fighting this battle. But it's just really cool that she's so nifty and trying to get them out of there, that I hope Radcliffe, who has been like, you know, helping shape her into like a better person and helping her like find what she wants to do with her life, he's just a tight ass and he's very tough, but he really does care about her. So even at the end here, when she's gonna go protect them, he's gonna be like, don't hurt her, and she's like, oh, you actually love me, like kind of attitude. I'm excited. But it's definitely getting intense, and I really like, it's been interesting, this book. I've definitely enjoyed it, but it's only just gotten into that like, oh my god, everything's gone to shit vibe. Hey guys, I finally finished it. I am totally in the dark here. I hope this quality comes through okay. It's probably gonna be shit. You're lit like an angel, baby, and I'm just dark. It needs to see me. But I finished it. I said I was going to finish it today, and I did it. And I am so happy, because this book has taken the longest time to actually get through, and I'm so mad that I just couldn't make myself read it quicker. And I definitely think, because I was kind of umming and ahhing if I wanted to give it 4 stars or give it 3 stars, and ultimately I think I'm going to give it 3 stars, just because it couldn't grasp my attention. Like, I really enjoyed the story. I liked the ideas of it, and I liked Lyra as a character. She was really interesting, even though all the technicalities of the world and the idea of the worming in their internet system, and having the Terracotta Warriors plotline, and like having weird alien ghost things happening, like there was a lot going on. It was a good sci-fi, but just too much going on, and definitely I just was slightly bored. It's a 450-page book, like it's not the longest thing ever, but it also felt like it was too long. But what was really interesting too is reading the last chapter again for like the 4th time, but actually reading it in the proper sequence. At the start of the video, when I first read the chapter, I did say that I found it very easy to understand and it didn't give me a lot of information. So actually getting to read it when I completely understood what was happening and understood all the little references and why it's like so many things were impactful, and why the villain reveal, even though it wasn't done very well, like I was very excited about the fact that I did know something juicy about the ending, but it didn't really give me anything that like made me think that Jaren was the villain. Like obviously because I knew, I was like, oh well, obviously, but if I didn't know, I feel like it definitely would have had more of an impact to me, because obviously he's meant to be her friend, and then boom, he turns out to be a crazy person who's worming and trying to like destroy the universe or take over the universe. So that would have definitely been more impactful. So this vlog did ruin that for me, but also it was still good that it made me read this book, because I knew I never probably would have gotten to it. Like I bought it and I was just a hate read for the most part at the beginning, and then it got better. And I know I have said all these points before, but just even like being able to chat about it again after actually finishing the book makes a really different viewpoint as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed the experience of this vlog. I don't know how long this video is going to be, or if it's even going to be that interesting. I would definitely say don't recommend me to do this again, because I definitely would be scared that I would read a chapter at the end of the book that reveals more now, because really you don't want to spoil yourself. And yeah, sometimes I can't help it personally, because I'm too worried, or I need to know if someone's gonna die, or when they're gonna kiss, or things happen, or I get a bit bored, so I just skim a little bit at the back. It's a habit, but it's not as bad as it used to be, and there's a lot of books that I definitely try not to do it to anymore, and that's why audiobooks are so good, because who skips ahead in an audiobook? That is just crossing a complete line there. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!